Federal jury clearing a Libyan militant of murder charges, ultimately saving him from the death penalty. This after standing trial in connection to the Benghazi terror attack. It left 4 Americans dead back in 2012, including the U.S. ambassador. That jury did, however, convict him of terrorism. Let's bring in KRIS PARONTOI, one of the 6 military contractors who ran into the diplomatic complex in Benghazi while it was under siege and stayed there to fight off the attack for 13 hours. KRIS, it's great to have you on this morning. Obviously,
Yes,
you've
ma'am.
had some time to digest this news. What is your reaction to the verdict?
I'm disgusted. To be honest with you, it should never got into a criminal court. To allow a terrorist to have due process and to be covered under our Constitution is completely ridiculous. That's why I didn't testify. That's why I didn't testify at the trial, because I thought it was really a sideshow. This guy, at the very best, Katala should have got a military tribunal. In his case, at the very best. In the very best, in my case, the extraction team should have put a bullet in his head. That's what I think. This is ridiculous. It's a travesty.
Tyrone Wood's father, Charles, called the verdict outrageous. He said it's a miscarriage of justice. A couple other family members have had a chance so far to respond, and they are outraged.
It really shows that there is still no closure for the families. They still have not got justice, and they rightfully so should be angry. You don't bring a terrorist and waste taxpayer money and give him a criminal trial. You put him in Gitmo, or you interrogate him and then you execute him. That's how you deal with terrorists.
You take issue with the word mastermind when describing this terrorist.
Yeah.
Why?
He's a middleman at best. This guy was no mastermind. Was he there? Yes. Could he have assisted in the planning? Possibly. I'm not going to say he didn't. Was he there, and did he help commit the murders of Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith? Yes, he did. But to call him a mastermind, no, that was a political ploy. That was so the past administration and Hillary Clinton could put this thing to bed. But because of the team speaking up again when that came out, it was disputed, and again, he's found out to be that he was just a middleman. Mastermind was just a political ploy by the past administration.
KRIS, while this is the first time that we've heard you speak following the verdict, on social media last night, you made your views on this very clear. You said, when do terrorists deserve due process? This should not have been taken to a criminal court. What's next? Granting terrorists their Miranda rights?
I know. It's so ridiculous. One of your contributors, Rob O'Neill, Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill, we're on the same page with that. You don't give animals due process, and that's what terrorists are. And right now, the terrorists are laughing at us. I'm sure right now they're looking at the TV, or they're watching their social media, or doing what they do, saying, "Oh wow, they're going to try us in a criminal court. Why don't we just stop doing terrorist attacks because the Americans are so empathetic?" No, we just showed our weakness again. And the only way we can stop terrorism is fighting fire with fire, and just coming and making it so awful to attack Americans that they're afraid to do it.
You've called this a circus show for politicians and called it purely political.
And I will stick by that. If they wanted to do it the right way, again, they would have grabbed him. The CIA and the NSA would have done their interrogation techniques, and it would have went to Gitmo. This was purely a sideshow, purely something for political gain for the past administration. And I'm going to stick to that, and I always will. That'll never change.
What is your message to those who made his extradition possible, those politicians, after we look back at that night and the impact that had on you and the risk that you took and the fighting, the 13 hours that you spent there? What is your message to them?
You know, I would say, especially the defense attorneys, pick them up, drop them in the middle of a firefight with the terrorists, and let's see how their views change. They are so well protected in their cushy seats that they're able to pass judgment, and it's wrong judgment because they don't have the experience. And then to hide behind constitutional laws that we're giving to a terrorist. No, get up there, get out of your seat, and go fight terrorists. And let's see how you feel about that. It disgusts me to this day that I still have to see politicians and attorneys still trying to say they know how the world operates, and then they're doing something like this. They don't. They need to get out of their little cushy bubble world there on the Beltway and get out and see how things really work out.
Great to get your reaction this morning. KRIS PARONTOI, and our thoughts and our prayers are still with those families who lost their loved ones that night. Thank you for coming on.